Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Now we move on to our first topic, to introduction. Okay, so this is chapter 1. So what is our learning objective? So by the end of this topic, we should know is what is accounting. So what is the difference between form of organization, and then different between accounting, bookkeeping, scope of accounting, and then who are the users of the accounting information, and you are able to explain what is the accounting process. So as the introduction, generally accounting is known as a language of a business. And here we can see that defined as a systematic process of identifying, recording, measuring, classifying, verifying, summarizing, interpreting, and communicating financial information to the users for the decision making. So this is the whole process. For example, we come from the source document. All right, source documents such as purchase and sales, purchase order, sales order, and then we try to record, we measure, we classify which one is asset, which one is liability, and then we are going to verify, we summarize, and then we interpret, and then we come out with the financial statement. So what is the use of the financial statement? It's actually for the user to make a decision. For example, the profit or loss is going to be used by the potential investor. Either they would like to invest or not to invest in the company. Alright, so these are the form of business organization. So proprietorship, or in bahasa is peniaga tunggal. Partnership, so or we name it as perkongsian. Company is syarikat, and limited liability partnership. So this is still a partnership, but they have the limited liability. So it means that they limit up to what extent of their liability. And then cooperative or cooperative. Alright. Alright, form of business organization. So we move on to number 1, which is sole proprietorship. So what is a sole proprietorship? Is actually, so this business is only owned by one person, a single person. Alright, so what do you have to do is easy to set up for this one. Only one person can manage, can set up for the business, and least costly among all form of business. It's very cheap to run and register. Alright, so how to register? We are going to govern under Registration of Business Act 1956 and ROBA Rules 1957. But here on the last point is the owner. The owner has unlimited liability. So what is unlimited liability? Is actually, we can see here the owner of the business is unable, if the owner is unable to pay for their debt or liability, so they can go for a personal asset. For example, you have your own business and then you're not able to pay to your creditor, the creditor can come to your private asset. So it means that they can ask you, take an action to sell off your house, of your car and everything in order to get back their money if you are not able to pay back for the liability. Alright, so next one will be partnership. So minimum is 2, maximum not exceeding 20, or maximum is 20. So this is governed under Partnership Act. So here, when you have more than one person, so what's supposed to do with the profit? You have to share the profit, and the risk of the business also you have to share among the partners. So in general, we can say that they have the unlimited liability. Unlimited liability is like sole proprietorship. They can go for your personal assets. But here in the partnership, so it means that here if they have 5 partners, so the liability is going to be forced by the 5 partners. But for the sole proprietorship, only for a single person or the owner. Alright, so form of business organization here is a company. So company, we can see here is a separate legal personality or separate legal entity. So it means that here the business itself, they is actually own entity. It's not a person, it's an entity. So it means that here business, they have their own entity. Okay, so it means that like we cannot say like before this we can say that the owner is the business, but here the company and the owner is two different things. All right, incorporate and govern under Companies Act. So company, they have their own Companies Act 2016 and that 2016. All right, the ownership of the company is represented by the number of shares. The owner are known as shareholders and the company must have at least 2 shareholders. Okay, so here the minimum number is 2 and then the maximum number, we don't have the maximum number. Okay, so it's going to be the shareholders. It means that each of the person, they have their own share. We name it as the shareholders. Okay, so normally the shareholders have limited involvement in the company operation where they have vote and elect a group of shareholders or any third party as a member of the board. So it means that here the shareholders is not necessarily diminish the money. Diminish the business. It's actually is going to be managed by they themselves if they want it, or if there are so many members, they're going to vote. So which one will be the board of members? Okay, they also can take any third party to become the board of members. All right, next one will be form of business organization. We add in with limited liability partnership. Same as partnership, but the different is they have the limited liability. Okay. So here is going to be governed under limited liability partnership 2012. So this is the characteristic of company and a conventional partnership. So it's a combine between partnership and a company. Why partnership? Because members like partnership, okay, and then but their liability is actually follow the company. So it's a combination between the two, which is the partnership and the company. All right, they form a partnership, but then the liability, they follow the company, which is limited. Okay, form of business organization. So next we move on to cooperative, the last one. So a business owned by a group of individuals and operated for their mutual benefit. Right, what we can see, I can give you an example, some sort like the cooperative. Have you ever heard about the cooperative or cooperative, right? So the person who contribute to the capital is called a member and has a voting right irrespective of the amount of capital contributed. So it means that here, once they have the shares, so capital invested, so they have the right, okay? So they have their own acts. We name it as Suruhanjaya Koperasi Malaysia or Cooperative Act 1993. So example of cooperative organisation in Malaysia are Bank Kerjasama Rakyat, Bank Pembangunan and other of koperasi. Cooperative. All right. Bookkeeping versus accounting. So what is bookkeeping? Bookkeeping means that we keep all transactions day to day. For example, all the expenses, all the purchase, and all the payment, all the loans and everything. All right. So we just keep for the transaction. What happened to daily transaction? Okay. So such as pay, receive payment, and then what type of invoices that we get. So bookkeeping is more transactional, so it depends on the transaction. With recording financial transaction and ensures record for each transaction are correct and up to date and comprehensive to make sure that all the recording is good and everything is in a correct or accurate. So next one, accounting. So now we are going to have a look what is the accounting. So accounting is the other hand a high level process. So it means that the bookkeeping is actually inside the accounting. So bookkeeping is only a certain part, only part of it. Okay. So process of the users of the financial information prepared by the bookkeeper to produce various report and documentation for decision making. So we extend on the bookkeeping, we prepare for this, and then we prepare documentation for a decision making. All right. So hence here the process of accounting is more subjective than bookkeeping. All right. And then the accounting turns the information from the ledger into statement that reveal a bigger picture of the business and the path of the business or the company is progressing on. Just like what I said just now, bookkeeping, it means that you keep the day-to-day transaction. Accounting, we have to further up other information that we have to prepare for a decision making. Alright, so business owners often look to accountant for help with the financial planning, and tax filing. So it involved here. Alright, next, accounting information. So these are the accounting information that you should know. Number one, statement profit or loss. As we know, if we do accounting, so we would like to know what is the profit of the company. Is the company is making profit, or is the company is making loss, right? So this is during a period, for example, every month they come out, every year, right? So next one is the statement of financial position. Okay, formerly known as a balance sheet ataupun kunci. The name in bahasa is kunci kira-kira, to show whether the asset and the liability, the position of the company, all right, asset, liability, and their equity. All right, statement number, next one will be the statement of cash flow. So cash flow, it means that we are going to see the inflow and outflow of cash for a company, right? So this one, as we know, cash is very important. We would like to know in and out of the business, right? So this is to indicate how manages its cash position. We would like to know, is there have any cash for the company, all right? Is it inflow and outflow is good? All right, and then next one will be statement of changes in equity. So it means that in the equity, so the capital contributed, so the movement, everything they should be stated also, okay? So here, by presenting the movement in the reserve comprising the shareholders equity, so it means that the equity of the shareholders, we would like to know if there is a changes. All right. So uses of the accounting information, it means that if we prepare the financial statement, who is going to use the financial statement? All right. Number one is the owner or the shareholder. Of course, majority the shareholders, they have money but they do not involve in the business itself, so they would like to know whether the company is profit or not profit. All right, so what they have to do, need to understand the performance of their investment, because the shareholders is a person who give money to the company, so they would like to see whether the performance of the company is good or bad in order to make a decision, whether they would like to hold their shares in the company, they would like to invest more, or they would like to sell their shares. All right, it's also users or prospective investor. It means that for example, I'm not currently I'm not the shareholder, but then I interested to invest the company, so I need also the financial information or accounting information whether for me to invest or not to invest. So this one I would like to assess whether the company of profit or not. Is there any solvency of the business? Is there any risk and so on? All right, so I have to know before I make a decision not invest or not to invest. All right, next one for the management is actually make proper operating decision. So the management also, they would like to know the financial statement for their operating decision. For example, if the profit is not achieved the target, so what will be the corrective action they have to take? All right, lenders or the creditors. So the creditors also would like to know whether the company are able to pay back their debt or no. All right, if they look at the financial statement, they are able to see whether the company able to pay back or are not able to pay back for their loan. Okay. All right, same also for the personnel. If you would like to borrow from the bank also would like to see your payslip, whether you are able to pay back the loan or not able to pay back for the loan. All right, trade creditors or suppliers. So here, creditors, it means that here if you borrow, you purchase something from a creditor, it means that you're not able to pay cash, so this is the creditor. Lenders, just now number one is actually for you borrow money from them. Right, so here, interested in the business ability to pay obligation when they become due. Of course, if they give you, for example, okay, you can use us our product first, but then you still owe to us 100K. So the suppliers or the creditors are really interested whether to see you are able to pay or not able to pay. So they are interested of the accounting information. And the government, and of course, the government are really interested for their tax. All right, so IRB or Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia and Royal Malaysian Custom, they really need to know whether they can charge you for a certain tax or not. All right, users of the accounting information also, all right, employees and unions. All right, so the employees also need to know whether they are in a good position or not in a good position. Of course, if you are being chosen to work with a company, for example, company A, you get from a small company, and number two, you get from the international company. So which company that you would like to work on? Of course, you would like to work with the international company. Why international company is more established? Right, same also with this one, the employees would like to know whether the company are able to pay their salaries, are able to give them benefit, or are you able to give them the career development? Of course, so these employees will see also the financial or accounting information. All right, next we move on to the customers. All right, the customers also, they would like to see ascertain the financial ability of the suppliers. Whether the customers here ascertain the financial ability of a supplier to, all right, so I can simply like explanation like this. So customer here, they are able to see, all right, customer, if they would like to purchase a product, of course they would like to see come from a established company. It means that the financial statement is good and so on. For newcomers of a company, you think that, oh, is that I'm going to be profitable when I'm buying this product? Is there any security? Is there any warranty of the product? For big company or established company, normally they give you warranties. Okay, so it means that their financial statement is very important. All right, so areas of financial accounting, we have financial accounting, management accounting, tax accounting, and so on. So financial accounting, what we discussed just now, is actually all right, I read first. Financial accounting is a process of recording business transactions, summarizing into financial statement, which supply internally within the organization and externally to the various users such as investors, creditors, and government agencies. So what we are talking above just now is actually more towards for the financial accounting. We prepare documentation day to day, and then we make a financial statement, and then for the users of the financial statement. So next, what will be the management accounting? So see the words of management. So this accounting information is going to be used for the management. So emphasize the preparation analysis of the accounting information within the organization. All right, so this information is good for the management. So among others, it includes preparing and evaluating business process, costing, budgeting, forecasting, all right, and involve implementing and monitoring internal activities and resources. So here, the information that we need is actually to management itself to make sure that everything, the costing, the budgeting, and the forecasting is actually in a good condition. All right, tax also help entities to minimize their tax payment. So this is for the tax accounting. All right, so it means that we would like to, hide something of the information, but we try to get the maximum deduction that given by the government, all right, to reduce for our tax. All right, areas of accounting. So we have auditing. So auditing is a process of examination and verifying business account and the firm system of the internal control. Audit, so it means that here other parties that would like to see to check the financial statement whether they follow the rules and procedures or not. Okay. So next will be the accounting process. So accounting process, I will explain later.